All right.
God, the anticipation kills me every time, Neil. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Off the Lip radio show. Neil, what number?
748.
Okay, we're getting closer to 800.
Yeah.
And when 800 hits, I think we should do a really, we need to get like the Stones or Aerosmith or somebody.
Aerosmith.
Come on. Hey, I'm down for the Aerosmith. Hey, everybody, welcome back. We have a really good show tonight because there's a message that you'll enjoy and I think is important to share. And CJ Nelson is in the house. Let's do this, CJ. By the way,
Yo.
is this your personal board?
This is one of the ones. It's a stock board, but I kind of painted up the rails but yeah, stock.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
it's been a
glad
while.
to be here. I'm really glad. I think last time I was here, it was, me and Neil. It was at the radio station.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
That was.
Where do you live right now?
I'm living in Oceanside.
Oceanside? Been
Yeah.
there for a while?
I've been there for 3 years now.
You like it?
I do. It's blue collar. It's kind of like, it's got some grit. It's a good place to be. And
It's military, right?
it's military,
Right.
but there's like a good group of skaters from there.
Yeah.
that,
Get the
you know,
Vista crew and
the
all those
Vista
guys
crew.
too?
But like I'm working with Firewire. I have my crime surfboards and other projects going on down there. So all my businesses are down there, and that's stuff that takes up so much of my time.
And hold everything.
Yeah,
You're a surfer though.
mostly.
Yeah.
Still.
In this business thing, is that like a bad relationship, or does surfer guy and business guy get along?
Definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
I'm
important.
cool. I enjoy when I can get into design, or I can get into business relationships, or reach out to stores, or work with other designers, or whatever. That's very fulfilling to me. Not quite as fulfilling as surfing, but it's there. So I don't have any resentment to my work, but I do surf more than most people.
Have you? Has your Everest of surfing been tackled yet? Do you feel like you've hit your pinnacle of surfing, or is there more?
I don't. But I'm like with the longboard thing and kind of the alternative surf thing, it's like, I feel like you there's some longevity there. You know what I mean?
You say alternative. I will categorize you as an alternative surfer.
Yeah.
Because I really feel that's you. And I think there's never been a better time. Neil, you might agree or disagree. I think you might agree.
Yep.
To ride an alternative surfboard.
Yeah.
I see people riding crazy surfboards right now.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
I think it's okay. I mean, if there was nobody in the water ever, I would ride a shortboard way more.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
I totally agree.
I would ride smaller equipment, but I think part of the...
You didn't feel that way when you were younger. You wanted to ride a longboard. And
Well, I rode shortboards too.
You
You
did?
like a lot. Yeah,
Right.
you remember.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Yeah.
I used to
Were
ride
you
shortboards.
hassled though? Did you get hassled though for riding a longboard back in the day?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You just-
And I don't want to curse like I'm a bad... I was on Surf Splendor and I used way too many curse words.
We don't,
And I'm going to try not to tonight though. I know my girlfriend's watching and I'm trying to be a better man here.
Watch out for your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
Did we not talk about this earlier?
What?
There was a couple of guys who started riding longboards
Right.
way before anybody sort of in their age did.
Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay was one of them.
Right.
Well, it was like, I remember,
But-
it was me and Jay, and there was a couple other guys, but...
That dude, Wingy, came up from San Diego, blowing it up.
Isn't he from Newport Beach?
Newport Blackies, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But it was him, Terry Sims, Michelle
Simba.
Juno. Michelle Juno's always been on the longboard from time to time. But like I feel like me and Jay, we had it hard at First Peak. It was
rough.
I was super disliked. And
I was pissed. But remember I said Second Peak?
Yeah.
No one rode longboards at Second Peak. It was where guys who couldn't get waves at Stewart Peak and First Peak went.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a longboard spot.
Right.
No, it was like 12 shortboarders over there.
Right.
20, it was
Different.
But I remember kind of the deal for me was like, if I'm going to ride a longboard at First Peak, if another longboarder from Second Peak tried to come over, it was like Benji and those guys would be like, you got to tell them to leave because we're letting you longboard here. And that was the same way for Jay. And we were fine.
And why? They rode shortboards.
Shortboard, they could ride
Yeah,
shortboard.
so it was kind of wasn't like they couldn't ride a shortboard.
It was their entrance fee.
It was a different time in surfing in Pleasure Point.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was only a couple of people who really got away with it,
Yeah.
Besides some of the older guys.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like Kevin Canty would roll along with his longboard,
Right.
and Kevin could get any way he wanted to.
For sure. And I do, but I think it was, I wanted to talk about evolving as a surfer in the community and stuff, but that was a really great way to grow up and have like something that you all, like I aspired, like I had to like not give a fuck a little bit and like I'm cool with everybody hating on me, but I also, it was something to aspire to, and like getting heckled or whatever by like Maddie Coletta or whoever, you know what I mean? Like that was like, I get it, looking back, like it wasn't mean. It was more like, we're not going to just give you this shit. You're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to sit. You're going to be patient. You're going to take your turn. You're going to obey our rules. You're at our house. And that's fine. That made me who I am today, and I wouldn't change a thing.
You're also, I feel like, one of the lucky ones to be involved at that time and be accepted and evolve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was only a few people who had the key to the city.
Yeah.
And I felt like you were able to ride your shortboard when you wanted to, and you'd paddle out with the boys on your longboard, and it was cool. And so, congrats to that. You make surfboards. You're involved in a surfboard deal.
I am, and it's amazing how it happened. But I don't know if do you remember Yu Somitomo?
Yeah.
So he moved here when he was like 14, lived with Coletta, with his brother. And like I became friends with him then. I was like 13, 12. And he reached out to me after I got sober many, many years later, and now that's my partner in this.
Wow.
So Yusan is the one who kind of came up with this technology for the Thunderbolt stuff.
What's Thunderbolt? Tell us about it.
Thunderbolt's basically it's a blank building process that Yusan and his family came up with to put more twang and flex into a board in targeted spots. So like on my nose rider, the flex point is up here because I want to kind of jump up and down on the nose and ride the nose. So I have the flex point here. On this board, it's more kind of between my feet in turning stance. Some of the shortboard stuff he was doing for like Matt Miola and Al Merrick and stuff, that was moved further back. But it's an A beam and a V beam, and the bisection where they bisect on the rails, that can be moved up and down. And it just creates a surfboard that's extremely lively.
I love the word twang.
Twang.
And surfboard. Because the twang is like energy, It feels like energy, right?
It's lively,
twang.
dude. And it's so funny because you can I could shelf this thing, I can ride it for a year, and I could shelf it, and I can grab it 5 years from now, and it's still going to have that instant twang. It's like a skate.
I see it has your initial on it over here.
I painted this one.
Oh, you did that there? Okay, it's just landed? All right.
Just in case somebody gets it and they care.
Well, if it gets stolen, you'll be like, CJ's over here.
Yeah.
Neil, I see you dying over there.
Well, I'm not dying.
Yeah, you are.
Good job.
Keep going.
But I want to go back to the sobriety. I want to talk about the dark days back there, which ultimately going to lead to what you're doing today.
Yeah.
And did the darkness start? I'll come up there. Did the darkness
come up?
I'm coming up. Did that start for you with the passing of your father?
Well, no. I mean, my ego, the idols I looked up to in skateboarding, like who I looked up to in music, prior to surfing First Peak, where I was growing up in SF, I was going to like Dead Kennedy shows and hanging out at Gilman Street and skating, and like I was living a rough existence.
You're parallel to Jeremy.
Very.
Right? You were where he it went, and then where you were going was
Yeah.
the same direction.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, just recently, I think about Jeremy a lot because I knew him when he was a kid.
Me
you know?
too. Oh, I
Yeah.
was like the first guy.
Yeah,
we met.
yeah.
I
And
get it.
I took him to Mexico to longboard contest, and he was such a great surfer, and I think so much has changed in this town, you know, and it's hard for the people that had it really good, like Jeremy, to adapt. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like remain able to access their main source of inspiration with the way the crowd is and the way this town is now. I could only imagine the torment that Jeremy was going through, you know, because I didn't have quite that problem because I can deal with the crowd. I have a longboard. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like nobody can take that from me. Like I adapt my equipment to suit the crowd, you know. And I would see Jeremy, and he'd have to almost like get in such a state of anger before he would go in the water, right? Because you got to get pissed and you got to go out there just to deal with. It's a coping mechanism to deal with how this town's evolved.
Right.
And anger is a weird thing to deal with. I will say that I always thought I categorized it used to be a guardrail Pleasure Point in two different ways. One way is the guys who looked at the ocean and were like stoked, and the other way was the guys who bird dogged people driving by.
Looking for fights, yeah.
Yeah, and so there's two different schools there. I always thought you had you usually looked out there.
Yeah.
And that's a better chance of survival than looking this way all the time.
Yeah. But somebody like Jeremy who has, like, if you read his Facebook, you know, you see he's throwing up all this inspirational stuff of like animals and music, and like his true heart, like who he was.
Yes.
Was
I agree.
such a fucking beautiful person.
Yeah, his daughter.
And his daughter and his family, and what his vision was for his life. Like, you know, it's just not that easy when you don't have the tools that you need as a man to evolve.
Right.
And to walk through the struggles and the tragedies and the passing of his friends and the evolution of the town and life, right?
Well, maybe I can just stop and let people who may be watching is Jeremy Scribner, who was one of our Pleasure Point locals, raised in his grandma's trailer at Snug Harbor.
Yeah.
But he recently passed away. But was I think one of the most gifted surfers.
Yeah.
You know, like his ability on a surfboard was insane. And I was there when he got his first surfboard. You know, like I was there at the Lumbeck's trailer when they gave him his first board.
When he did the show with us and walked out the door, I go, you know what? That might be the last time I'm going to see that guy. Because
he was
dark, right?
We possibly his last interview. I think it might be his last time he ever spoke publicly on a camera was one of our Off Lip Radio shows. And if you're interested, you could search that. But
I know.
But in the same section, I just want to say, we could be talking about you like that right now.
Yeah.
You know, because you had dark days, and if you want to talk about that or not. But in my retrospect of you, there's similar forks in the road that you could have taken that you didn't. And maybe we could say, or you could say, why that didn't happen.
I just think that, you know, I lost my father, and my father was really close to me. And I knew what his hopes were for my life. And I had an aha moment of, well, I could let his death kill me.
Yeah.
Or I can make his death a miracle.
Right.
And make it something that it's currently not.
Do you remember that day when you thought about that?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Was that the lowest point, maybe, possibly? Or was
no, the lowest, that was it. The lowest point was several months later, and I was drunk on a 10-day bender, and I was 3 o'clock in the morning. It was March, and I was at the corner of that street over there, in a meadow by the Shadow Brook, and I just did not have anything left, and I got on my hands and knees, and I screamed prayer at the sky to save my life.
Good.
And
it worked.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
You know, but it was a moment that I can't. It was the moment. It was my lowest point where I was able to get down that low to where I could stick some solid seeds in the ground.
Yeah.
How big was surfing to get you back to where like CJ should be? You know, like
It was everything, man. And that I think is the thing that Jeremy unfortunately didn't have.
yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
You know, and he wasn't able to access it.
Mm-hmm.
Where I had the right boards and I just went and hid out and surfed every single day until my head got right, and it's evolved till here, you know.
I agree with that because the ocean heals, and we've heard about that.
Yeah.
We've how many guests have we had? How the ocean can be a healing
yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
but you got to go in it.
Yeah. But like you look, you know, I know one of Jeremy's last wishes was he said it on your show. He wanted people to learn from his example, like how he screwed up, you know, and how I screwed up. We're the same. Me and Jeremy are the same. He's exactly the same as me. I just made it, and unfortunately he didn't, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're not from Santa Cruz, it's hard to understand what we go through as people that have surfed here for 30-ish years, like, or longer. And I think that it's important that those people, if you're new to this town, try to sympathize with the people that are dealing with the changes. And if you're a Jeremy or you're a me, learn to evolve, change your equipment, like surf up the coast. Like we can't just blame each other all the time.
Yes.
You know, it's like this is the story of mankind.
Because everybody has a right to be in the water. We all do.
Truly, you know, with respect and all
Yeah.
the things that come with it. But like, this town's growing. It's going to be beautiful. I always want to come here and enjoy it. Jeremy would want people to enjoy it. He had to use his coping mechanisms to make it work for him. But that wasn't really who he was. And I think that everybody just needs to like understand themselves and have some patience and try to keep a gauge on their frustration, whether it's changing boards,
Right.
changing mindset, getting up the coast,
Sure.
you know, whatever. Like, who wouldn't want to live here, right? People are
Right.
going to buy old houses. Locals are going to get run out. But like, who at this point, who is the local?
Well, and every town on the coast has the same problem.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
You
and
can-
I'm gonna
ski
change it. I'm gonna
communities.
change it up a little bit because I
Yeah.
had this thought about you, and you like tattoos.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask you this question tonight.
Yeah.
What's the one tattoo that you can keep? If you were told you could keep one.
Ooh. Probably the portrait of my grandmother.
Yeah,
Okay.
boy.
My first tattoo.
First one was your grandma?
Yeah.
Ever?
Yeah.
Okay. You're warming over the hearts of every girl
Yeah.
out there right now. Just saying.
No, my
Okay. Well,
grandmother.
that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your name?
Mita Nelson.
Mita Nelson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're like everyone's first tattoo. Normally it's like we were partying and we took a wrong turn.
I love those. I got them
in the-
everywhere.
in the tattoo parlor.
Yeah, I got
But
them
what made you decide the day that you're like it's grandma?
I just knew it was the one my dad was going to let me get.
Yeah.
Mm.
How old
Because
were
his
you?
mom.
You youngster.
I was probably like 19 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
That's
Who did it? you remember?
Downtown. The one across the street from the courthouse. This girl,
Oh
Joey,
yeah.
Joey did it.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, they're great.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great place.
That's awesome.
They're old school.
Who first gave you a surfboard or pushed you into a wave?
My dad
Yeah.
on a Cruteau.
On a Cruteau?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad first Shetty. You know,
At Capitola?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it. I
That's
remember it.
amazing.
Yeah,
Think how many people. My first wave I ever stood up on was at the jetty.
yeah.
Like, who?
Everybody.
Imagine.
There's a lot of people.
Imagine the amount of people
A
who
lot of-
stood up on their first
I
wave
know,
down
dude.
there.
And I was down there, and growing up down there with like Joran, you know, even
Yeah.
Pogie was like surfing it.
Mm.
Everybody was riding Goins.
Wow. Yeah,
Those were
Goen,
good
killing it.
days.
Yeah. Mark Owen was amazing.
I remember watching ML and those guys
Mhm.
surfing behind the rocks over there when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was the best, man.
Yeah.
So, early 90s, late 80s was kind of your, I'm not sure, I'm old now, so my memory is so foggy, but your favorite moment. We ask this, we have this thing, we ask the old guys what their favorite decade was.
Yeah.
But I just want to ask you, because you were around here, is there a favorite year of your Santa Cruz life?
And a favorite day. That has to be a
Well,
favorite.
we'll ask that. And a favorite surfing day in Santa Cruz.
Well,
But
there was one year when the river mouth was, I think it was like the best year ever. Maybe it was 95, 93.
Well, the best was ever was the 83,
Okay, well, yeah,
84. But,
I wasn't over there
yeah,
then. But for me, I think
right.
it was that year.
Okay.
And I was fresh I had moved recently, dropped out of high school, moved from the city. I was living on Walnut, mainly skateboarding, hanging with like Israel Forbes and those guys. Santa Cruz High was like on, good skate spot. And so I was living over there, and that year I surfed the river mouth like it was like good. I feel like it was good. It was good until summer, and I remember because Don Hicks had an apartment.
Oh yeah, with the Farleys, right?
At
During
PLB.
that time?
Yeah.
And that was the time.
I was hanging with Don Hicks, and we were running down to the river mouth in the middle of summer, and it was still kind of happening. So
Wow.
that was a special time.
Good spot.
That was.
That was a good year.
Can we segue into his guest?
I'm going to fast forward. We'll come back to CJ, but
Gotcha.
I'm going to fast forward to these guys over here since they've been waiting patiently. Come on in, and then want to talk about. Tell us who you are.
My name's Elias Campbell. My dad, Mark.
Okay, you guys own Waves Fades.
No, you guys don't. He does.
He owns Waves. He's the owner of Waves Fades. She's been there. Lori Negro's spot, right? My friend Lori, who's the sponsor of the show, and she's here all the time.
Oh, right on.
And I want to thank Lori for the burgers today. Oh my God, so much stuff.
Hold, by the
I
way,
had 3 burgers.
by the way,
What?
who eats 3 burgers?
I had a full bite. I had the half a burger. Just shut up.
Get the fuck out of here! Are you serious? You
ordered
ordered 3 burgers
the other
today?
day you said you were sober from February and you drank 6 hard teas.
That was a party.
So like,
CJ, step in for a second.
Okay.
Because what I want to say is,
there's a partnership.
I'm just gonna say what some people don't know about Waves and Fades is not only is it a barbershop, it's a surf shop.
Yep.
And
for
how did the idea happen? When you were home going, I'm gonna start a barber shop and sell surfboards out of it. What are you, out of your mind? How'd that happen?
A little bit, I think. Well,
Come forward and speak loud.
yeah. I think about it all the time. I don't really know how it really started. I think I just like cutting hair, and I love hosting an environment, like anywhere. You know?
I remember how it happened.
And I like the ocean, but how'd it happen? I don't,
Well, he's turned our home into a barbershop from the time he was like 13 years old. And then I had a treehouse landscape office, 50 feet in the air, outdoor balcony, 12-foot ceilings, French doors, and he kicked me out of it and turned that into a barbershop in high school.
it's a good time.
Then he
So
goes,
you knew in high school what you were gonna do.
I did, and I was just doing it. You
You're
know,
doing
I was
it.
just cutting
Good.
hair.
Yeah.
Like doing it, like talking to people.
and serving
Yeah.
people and gathering people
Yeah.
and making people feel good about themselves. And then he goes
Yeah.
off to barber college and goes to work in the city and
Take over this part.
becomes a great barber.
Got
We are falling in love with surfing
Yeah.
because we would come down here through barber college and through all that. And me and my dad weren't close, and I wanted to get close to him. And
Yeah.
through the teen years, there was some distance
Because
happening.
there's nothing finer than surfing with your kid.
Nothing better. Nothing. And
well,
back to
and
the-
you always say that.
it's
Surfing
true.
with your
Yeah,
kids.
it's
It's
true.
true.
My kid's 32. I've surfed with him since he was 4.
You know what? Honestly, I wished, in hindsight, my dad would have paddled out one time with me.
It's a big
You
deal.
know, so anybody who's watching,
It's a big deal.
just put a
Big
suit
deal.
on,
Do it.
flounder your way
Yeah.
out there, and share a moment with
Yeah.
your kid who loves surfing.
Especially
So,
nowadays, because you have a conversation with your kid. There's no phone, there's no this,
Right,
there's no
right,
that,
right.
there's no this, and that,
Right.
you're just surfing.
yeah.
He burns me every time, I let him burn. I love it.
Yeah. His first wave being pushed in, Half Moon Bay, the jetty, 11 years old.
All right.
And it was just the 3 of us. We had a friend
Yeah.
with us.
Okay, so you learn how to cut hair.
Mhm.
So your idea, when did the idea come about? I'm going to go to Santa Cruz. I'm going to open up a salon. I'm going to call it a salon.
Barbershop.
Barbershop.
Yeah.
And serve,
Easy, Tiger.
And sell
They don't do nails.
Yeah, no.
You're not soaking in it.
Got it straight.
And you're going to sell surfboards out of it.
Yeah. I think, again, just hosting and coming out here. My dad's from here. His dad.
Yep. 3 generations.
So I just felt like it was where I needed to be, you know. And
But
surfing
you
was
you've got all these surf shops. You got all these surf shops on the street, which are selling
Yeah.
boards. How did you think? How are you going to compete with them?
it was not really an idea to sell boards. I was just kind of like going to have a barber shop, maybe just like in the back of at the back of here, you know.
Right.
And then Lori, I contacted her through a realtor, and then it was like, okay, I can't pass up this space, you know. It's like insane.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, right next to her restaurant. And
Right.
like, why would I pass that, you know, by? And then Ben Kelly, who's passed,
It was amazing. Yep.
yeah,
Ben?
he
Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah.
he donated like
8, 10.
10 boards, you know.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, like it's gonna be a financial struggle for me, but like, you know, let's make it happen. So he put all his boards in the back of the shop, and it's like a 1,300 square foot shop, so it looked a little sad, you know.
Yeah.
So like 3
Yeah.
chairs, I'm the only one cutting, you know. It looks like a big production. It's like, this is not looking good, you know.
But you had fins in the window.
We had like 20 fins.
Yeah, the fins were
Yeah.
amazing because I live on that street, so I would shortcut through the alley between Betty Burgers and
Sure.
Waves and Fades, and I ended up getting my haircut there. But you had a vibe,
I was trying.
and I'll tell you my vibe. I thought it was an artistic vibe.
Appreciate it, right?
Yeah, and honestly though,
Yeah.
I honestly thought you guys the surfboards were art.
Yeah.
You know, you probably maybe with CJ's guidance, I feel like that's a vibe you had.
Yeah.
Well, then we make CJ.
Well,
What,
yeah.
what did you get?
Oh.
What did you go like? I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to call CJ and say like.
No,
is that-
no. I just saw Danny Bennett
Oh,
with a really good ass haircut.
Yeah.
Where'd you
Who
get
doesn't
that?
love Danny Bennett's
Yeah.
nice haircut?
And he goes, the kid over there, the little kid over there. And I went in and we just
Huh.
kind of
Yeah.
kicked off a friendship, and I got close with Mark, and it just kind of evolved into.
So with the crime boards have been a huge hit, and every time you see people, every second board's a crime. My son loves his. He got 10-foot crime, loves it. Where did that board come from, and how did the popularity? How did it become so popular so quickly?
Well, it was my normal board label is like pretty serious, and it's just me. It's not like something I can do a lot of art with. So I wanted to create something that was fun, that I can involve some of my graffiti writer
Right.
friends and just like some skaters, and make something that was approachable to the average dude. Because obviously, like, that's what's working, for take the pressure off, grab a soft top.
I feel like surfboards have gotten super boring in a way,
Yeah.
and when they can be creative, it's refreshing.
Yeah, so we created that brand with that in mind, and Mark, helped us like get our first container over here. Me and you, Son again, my partner with Crime, and we just came up with some good designs and a good concept of a board that isn't a soft top, but it has a soft deck.
Yeah.
That they actually work. So like a beginner can feel like he's actually surfing and not like just staying on a stinking wave storm.
Well, and an accomplished surfer.
yeah.
I mean,
or like when
they
it's
surf
really
great.
packed, man, I'll take one out just to take the pressure off and be like, oh, I don't have to go out and do the best turns of my life. I'm just gonna go cruising.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to blow you up, but you might be one of the best surfers on the planet. Just saying. So,
I'm
just so you know, folks,
embarrassed.
I don't want to blow him up because
Well,
his ego worries me a little bit. But
I'm trying.
There was Sprout. What movies that?
Well, the Sprout, and the present, and I
The
mean,
President Campbell movies, huh?
yeah, Thomas Campbell.
Thomas Campbell,
we were, creating what you kind of the alternative surfboard market in at least in the U.S. I think Thomas Campbell and his vision coming from skateboarding and working for Thrasher and Trans
he's a
World,
freak. Yeah.
being who he was the right guy to show this type of surfing in a good light. And
Yeah.
I think it certainly changed the world.
Do you ever trip out how easy surfing is for you?
I do. Well, I mean, now
no, he did say yes.
I
But
do because sometimes I'm like, God, like I can't walk down the street, but I feel really comfortable on a surfboard.
you make surfing look so easy.
But I gotta say, and it's something I think about a lot. Like I eat right, I run, I stretch, I don't do social shit. Like the amount of headspace I donate to doing it efficiently is astronomical. Nobody would do it. You know what I mean? So
you know what I call that? Seat time. Because I race cars.
yeah.
It's seat time.
Yeah,
You want to
so-
be a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
race
yeah,
car
yeah.
driver? put your ass in the seat.
But there's so many people, like I'll go out and surf and people are like, man, you catch a lot of waves, or man, you're this or you're that, and I'm like, I see what they see, but man, like if you want that, focus energy on it, put down the beer, eat right, run, take some time off. Like I've been blessed to like give my life to one thing,
right.
And that's why I'm so efficient at it. And that can be frustrating. Like I'm a bit of a wolf among sheep, and most good surfers are. And I sympathize though with the sheep, and I'm trying to get more mindful of. It is a community, and I need to understand their perspective, and they need to understand.
Can we
mine.
segue right now to the first time you met CJ?
No.
What? Are you kidding me? You just told me the whole story. I'm just gonna fast forward. Do you remember the first time you met him
I
ever?
don't, but it was probably not good.
Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay.
You're such an asshole. I told
Okay.
you. Shut the fuck up.
No, here we go. Okay. I can't talk about it, but we're gonna talk about it. All right. So Neil's out surfing Tola. Yeah. He
Years ago.
this is a long time ago.
on a surfboard.
Yeah. No, he's got pre-paddle. But he decides he strokes into a left and he's feeling it, and you're behind him.
I dropped it.
Yeah.
I made him say. He went left, and I dropped in on him because I don't know.
Well, maybe he was going. Let's just assume. Let's just assume he's going right.
How did it
And
end?
you dropped in and
I
went left.
apologize for this.
Yeah.
How did it end? Was I an asshole?
No.
I was.
No. Hold on.
I don't even
We
remember.
both probably were.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this side, then you
Yeah.
can tell us yours.
I don't have a
So
side.
okay. So
I
he
don't
And I
tried.
didn't know.
So
I didn't know who he was. So
Of course you
paddles,
didn't.
He paddles out to me and he says, "Hey, dude, don't you know who I am?" I'm like,
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did. Like,
I don't think I said that.
I swear to God, I remember.
I must have been drunk.
no. And so when he told me the story, I was like, okay, there's the dark days right
Yeah.
there, because that was pretty much possibly
Nothing-
maybe
yeah.
when CJ was that guy.
Yeah.
And who's to say during that time? You have to remember that's when you could get away with it in Santa Cruz too.
No, but that's
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like exactly. It was-
like 2 weeks later, I came to your house to interview you for the paper. You're like,
That house?
That was the house was
No,
by the
over by
shadow
Shadow
Brook, right?
No. It would have been my, because that was a really long time
I
ago.
don't
When I lived over by the Shadowbrook, I wasn't surfing. I was just drinking and doing drugs.
I thought it was over there.
No.
But anyway, but maybe I remember.
I remember when you came to interview me for the Sentinel.
Yeah.
I think it was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right,
Dark.
Neil. I'm sorry.
Well,
Did you call me an asshole?
Dude,
Yeah.
this is beautiful. That's beautiful.
That might have been the
That's-
first time you've ever called me an asshole, by the way. Seriously.
Dude, we're family, man.
Okay,
we're
but
family.
what's amazing about it is he told me that story, and I was like, oh my god, that's so perfect, CJ, because obviously you have improved your life like 10 million %, and I'm very
No,
proud of you.
Thank you.
Because I was around there that time too, and there was a bit of a time, like you said, Santa Cruz ran different then. Our RPMs were
Well,
higher.
The first time I met you, to do Sentinel article, and then you came on the radio station, it was night and day.
Yeah.
The person that you were. It was
Yeah.
completely. I'm like, I was scared to invite you. I don't know. You weren't there. You weren't around. Whatever.
I could have been on a trip.
little apprehensive about inviting you on the show because it could be too many f-bombs and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
CJ was like the first guy I ever met who painted his nails. I was like, oh my god, this guy's
But it
nuts.
was night. It was you went from night. It was night. It was dark. It was dark to where the interview was for Sentinel to light where you were like an amazing guest and like anything I said to you, you just opened up like a Pandora's box. All the problems you had, everything. You just spat it all out.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, I mean, surfing's a weird thing, and being like really gifted at something when your head's not together, or using drugs or whatever, like your ego gets fucking so weird. And Jeremy talked about it, and we all, so many of us here in town have had that moment, and like, it's embarrassing to look back and like, people can take that a lot of different ways, but that's the kid growing up trying to figure himself out, and when I asked for help and I prayed to the damn sky to save my life, and I got my feet on the ground and got some capable eyes. I know what an asshole I was, I
You only
get
had
it.
one way to go at that point.
What's up?
You only had one way to go.
Dude, it was there was many nights where I didn't think I was going to make it.
Yeah.
And I was fighting, and I was doing drugs, and I was carrying weapons, and I was on a mission.
What I love about it is that anybody who's like down, it's only up.
Yeah,
if you
dude.
make it your mission to do that,
It's so exciting.
that's the most important part.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah, the hardest part is
To
making
decide.
that turn.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
this going to be the body?
Right.
Here's how I view your surfing. We've had a couple people on the show. I've had a couple of people who do ballet on the show.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry, but they're the most amazing athletes you're ever going to fucking find.
for sure.
For what they do and the training they do.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, off the charts. And to me, you're Barishnikov on a surfboard.
Well,
Yeah.
stockier
Where you
one,
have
but
that,
yeah.
you have that, you have that ballet-like way of being able to ride that board,
Thank you.
which nobody else has.
Neil, we didn't ask the question that we wanted to ask.
What's that?
Your best day surfing in your life. The one day. The last memory, like your last breath. The day that'll be the best surfing day ever.
That's a tough one. There's so many levels of that. Probably the last time I surfed with my dad in Capitola.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's an amazing answer.
Yeah.
I'll take.
Yeah. But dude, I surf 7-hour days, 3 days a week, and I'm very much in like a be here now sort of way of living, and I think like my next session is my best session. I'm more fit, I'm more mentally in charge, emotionally stable, I'm surfing better, my boards are better, everything's better. So next board's the best board, next session's the best session. The best is yet to come, for sure.
What's interesting, Neil, is about half of the people we ask that question to, they say today.
Yeah.
And the other half have a day like at Honolulu Bay or some boat trip or something.
Yeah.
But half of the responses are like, my best surf was today.
Yeah, man.
And I think that's a really important message. You know, we're an age, people are falling over every
Yep.
day. You know? Seriously, I had my friend Benny passed away yesterday. I was super sad. Today's the best day.
Yeah.
And I have to say, that's a great answer, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
man. And you think about it like, and when I'm still riding shortboards and stuff, and I'll think about it. I'll be in the car and I'll be like, man, it's crowded out there, and I don't know if I'm gonna get waves. And then I think about like just how nice it is to like put the board in the water and take a few paddles, and if I just like kind of like eat the elephant one bite at a time, like that feeling gets
Yeah.
me out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, maybe it's a bonus if I like go outside and cruise around, and then it's a bonus if I catch a wave, and so on and so forth. It's more of like entering with low expectations in a state of gratitude, rather than an entitlement state, a deserving state, a frustration state, right? Like, what a gift,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So,
So I wanted to say something. Earlier, my wife's like, who's on the show tonight? I was like, oh, CJ Nelson. She's like, what's up with CJ Nelson? I go, well, CJ Nelson's involved in this surfboard program where people don't wear leashes.
yeah,
That's what I said to my wife.
yeah,
Because normally, I'm just going to say, the people I see who carry your boards under their arm aren't wearing leashes.
yeah,
It's a trip. And I don't wear a leash when I ride boards over like 7'6".
Yeah.
First of all. And but it's kind of an interesting
Yeah.
fact about life. And I congratulate you on that.
well,
I do.
thank you. But
Yeah.
that's a double-edged sword, I
Well-
feel like, because I remember the day when my dad was like, son,
Wear a leash?
you can take the leash off.
Oh.
That's not a right. That's like
You earned it.
here's your black belt.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, you
Right.
earn it, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's not. I don't condone people just going and buying any board and going, oh, I want to be cool. Like Joel Tudor says, don't wear a leash.
Don't get me wrong. If you can't, if it doesn't stay with you,
Well,
you
a lot
better
of
wear a
people-
leash.
a lot of-
I get that.
My dad
Yeah,
made
leash,
sure
yeah.
I knew how to duck dive my 9-footer.
Yeah.
And I would have multiple sessions without falling. And he always told me, like, wear a leash, but treat your board like you don't have one. So don't ever rely on it. Like, grab your board.
Right.
And he could
Mhm.
identify that, okay, he's ready.
And maybe I should take that back. I compliment you on selling boards to black belts.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, because I feel like that's what's where a lot of them go. And I don't approve of people who can't have their board in 100% control.
Yeah.
You know, which is important.
Yeah.
And if you can't, wear a leash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wear a leash. Be
Yeah.
safe.
Can we, before we forget and time goes, can we talk about the retreat you guys are going to have?
Yeah. Yes. We would love to. And me and Mark have been. I mean, he's been running men's groups for 25 years. Me and him have become great friends, and we've kind of become family. And just watching what's going on around here and in surfing, like there's just not a lot of resources for men to, seek guidance in surfing, understand crowd control, understand all these little nuances that I use in my life to elevate my surfing and keep it somewhere, spiritually, emotionally, physically, right? So that's kind of what I'm going to bring to the camp. I'm really going to help people dissect their surfing, their equipment, their fin choice, their diet, their headspace, like the dynamics of crowd, all of those things. And then Mark, has been running these men's groups, spirituality master, and
Life skills, tools. We all focus on, in surfing, especially as you're starting or advancing, finding your trim, finding the board you like to ride, finding your spot, your wave, your crew. And finding trim in life is real hard and real rare.
Right.
And so there's a thing that happened early on in surfing, which was the surf tribe helped each other out. And now it's just get the fuck off my waves. And it's causing a lot of isolation, especially in maturing men. And you start raising kids, or you start trying to figure out how to have a career and do life. And so CJ, we meet CJ at the barber shop, and then we start coming over to my house when we were building the barber shop, and every Friday morning with Darshan and a couple other guys and Baker, and 6 in the morning sitting around a fire talking life, talking a poem or a quote or a great figure or something from some ancient scripture and applying it to our life. And then we go surf. And he's telling me when I knee paddle, get my heels out of my ass, get your kook, what the hell you think you're, and so my surfing is being refined.
Right.
And he's been now experiencing something that we've been a part of in our life and he's grown up with for 25 years, which is guys that are for each other, different backgrounds, different areas of life, helping each other.
Right.
Helping each other before you get to a certain point, helping you through things, preparing you for the next season of life. My dear friend who taught me how to do this 25 years ago, just passed at 84. Your spiritual dad, my spiritual grandfather, my spiritual father, my dad and I weren't close. This guy took me under his wings. 84. Mark, I'm getting ready to kick it. It's over. It's at stage 4, right? He says, come say goodbye. And me and Elias go over the hill and we start kissing him and loving him. And who gets to say goodbye? And then the sucker hangs on for like a year. And he calls me and says, hey, do you know any 95-year-old guys? I don't know how to die. I don't know how to do this. It's the first time around. And he was just lifelong learner.
Wow.
Why do you quit? Why do we think we have stuff figured out? Why do we try to bump chests everywhere and all the time?
We had a lady supposed to be here last night's show, Alina Hammer.
Uh-huh.
And she was she helped people with death, and she had cancer.
Beautiful.
And,
Walking people into that
and
stage.
she was supposed to come on the show yesterday, but she died last week.
No.
Yeah, so we dedicate the show to Alina Hammer.
We're going to dedicate it
Alina
to
Hammer.
Yeah, she was a neat, she was an awesome lady.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But especially guys that aren't close to their dad. CJ, this is the thing. CJ was close to his dad and had a great example.
Yeah, he did.
Took a wrong turn. I wasn't close to my dad. Didn't have a good example. Took a wrong turn.
There was a lot of people close to his dad.
Yeah.
In Capitol.
I've only heard great
things. It wasn't just CJ. It was like everybody was like drawn to this guy, and he was just a little guy,
Yeah.
He just had that personality where everyone was just drawn to him. You just want to surf with him. You don't be in the lineup with him.
I just wish I would have met him.
And
sure.
it's hard to say like if you could get that time back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like no when.
But I think it's so important that we, back in the day when you were helping Jeremy, like he had somewhere to go. Like there, like we need to have a space where dudes can go and hang out and grow together, walk through shit together, learn from each other.
Be
And that's
proactive with that stuff.
Well, that's Waves and Fades in the Santa Cruz boardroom. It's like
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
have an open door.
It's very much like that.
You bring people in and you try to share the stove.
But that's what our retreat's going to be about.
Is there information on the retreat, like a
Yeah,
website?
Loose
or
Change, Instagram, loosechange.com.
Loose
Loose
Change.
Change Retreats.
Retreats.com.
Loose
Yeah.
Change
Where's the
retreat?
retreat at?
It's at our farm. We have a 2.5-acre farm in Soquel, right on Main Street. And so we're going to do 3 this year. Hope to do up to 6 next year. Travel, go down south, maybe go overseas, Australia, Mexico, do some retreats there. But this year we're doing 3 camps.
Here in Santa Cruz?
Yep,
Okay.
retreats.
Okay.
And you just go to the camp, get all the information, the dates,
Okay.
eating like kings. I mean,
Right.
because
It's
around
gonna
the
be
table,
over the top.
over
It'll
the
be
top,
great.
we're
Yeah.
going to have with Dr. Jordan right down the street, chiropractic, cupping, acupuncture, deep tissue work at the end of each day, 2 sessions each day, filming and critiquing the films with this master, and then
How many spaces do you have?
10,
10. And the cost of it is?
$38.50,
Okay.
5
For-
days per person, 5 days, 4
Okay.
nights. We just bought 20 teepees. We got these great teepees,
Yeah, yeah,
luxury
yeah.
camping, glamping.
Wow, sounds awesome.
It's unbelievable.
CJ's crowd control.
CJ,
I'm gonna just, I really want to take what I have and pass it on and just help the community, the
Yep.
surf community, get better and stronger and smarter and understand each other more.
Yep.
You know, like Jeremy wanted, like just try to take our fuck ups
Yep.
and share our experiences, because if I can pull myself out of what I did, there's not a man walking the earth that can't.
And congrats
Yep.
And
to
Yeah.
you for like doing that and sharing it now. You know,
Yeah.
it's-
So there will be people there with struggling with through addiction and that, but my struggle was workaholism. You know, I wasn't seen by my dad. I wasn't really accepted by him because he had some mental illness and severe alcoholism himself. So I just worked my ass off trying
Yeah.
to get accolades and fell into that trap.
Right.
And then that's where distance came between me and my son because I was never home. I was busting my ass, making a living, trying to provide things for him that I didn't have. And
Yeah.
surfing
So
saved us.
working was just your escape.
That was not my escape, and I
Yeah.
got my identity in it, and I got accolades. I was good at it. I was a
Yeah,
landscape
yeah.
designer builder. I was a pastor in the East Bay. We did great things. We helped a lot of people, and I got stroked. I felt good. I'm not a superstar like this guy, but I helped families, and I
Yeah.
brought families back together.
Wow.
And, you know, that's that whole God syndrome thing. There's
Well,
that.
I got my hair cut at Waves and Fades for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
I saw you on the couch every day.
All the time. That's
selling
right.
surfboards.
Yep, all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
he's a master connecting with people and just being naked, and I think that it's so important that we
Did
all
you say naked?
Naked. So we're
being
going to go
naked
create a garden
and,
of Eden.
and,
We're
and
going to go
sharing,
naked.
sharing,
Naked.
you know, sharing the dirty truth,
The dirty stuff.
you know.
How do
And-
you learn from each other if we're not going to be honest with each other?
Yeah.
Hiding
True that.
stuff.
I agree with that. You are available all the time. Up
All the
there?
time, Waves
Talk
and
about
Fades.
the CJ surfboard.
And the loose change retreats. You can email
Yeah.
us off of that. You can go to the Instagram, loose change retreats, sign up, or just talk, get to know each other. I've had the greatest conversation. We had over 40 inquiries, and I get to call and talk to each and every one of them. And I've had about a dozen fantastic conversations.
Can we segue over to Waves and Fades?
Let's do it.
Because very few places I've had my hair cut did I get a beard.
Yeah.
Is that rare in the barbershop world? Like to
I've never
pull
got
a
a
beard
beard.
around like that?
I think off the tap it's a little rare, and that's what makes it special, you know. But it is becoming more of a thing. In 2017, they passed a law, so you can serve beer in a hot air balloon,
Salon? Oh, okay.
hot air balloon,
Uh-huh.
limo, and a barbershop.
But the days of the barbershop
Here we
are
are.
going to be kind of like long. I mean, they're in the past, and now you guys are introducing the barbershop here in town. It's like,
Well, that was the funny part.
Yeah.
He says, we're down here surfing, falling in love with each other, and just falling in love with surfing. Surfing saved our relationship. And he says, I want to open a luxury barbershop, and we're here right across the street at the eatery. And he says, I think I want it here. I want it at the point. And I'm going, my God. Like, nobody's getting luxury haircuts. Like, what are you thinking? But he's young. He was 23.
yeah.
21.
21 at the Vision, and we
Wow.
start saving money, and you start saving money and working your ass off to get there. And I thought, well, sink a couple ships. You're young. As long as you don't borrow money or take advantage of nobody, who cares,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Lori had faith in us, went through the
Yeah,
Instagram
she
and
does. I
saw.
talk to her all the time. She's one of my closest friends.
She's
so.
a great lady and really
Yeah.
trusted this young man and went through his Instagram and the Treehouse Barbershop. He gets the vision. Mom and dad bust our ass and do the remodeling. Mom was the decorator, and he worked his ass off. This guy walks in and takes the surfboard area into the next generation, into the next stratosphere, and
Well
helps
done.
us, guides
Well,
us.
in full circle because you're supporting CJ as well.
Oh, for sure.
It's a full circle
For
right
sure.
there. So,
It's a great.
I love the story. I love the family angle of
Yeah.
all this. I love that you discovered like this family.
Dude,
We
it's-
adopted them.
you
We
know?
adopted them.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's amazing because I don't have family here now. You know,
Mhm.
my father's home's long gone, everything gone. You
Mhm.
know, and so when I come here, it's like
You're home.
it's almost better. You know, like God bless my father and everything he ever gave me, and that's been, you know, my whole life. But what these people have brought to my life is extremely special.
I'm thinking about what back in those days when your dad and you were there, and now where we are today. It's like, wow,
It's unbelievable.
transformations. Like
Unbelievable. And my dad,
amazing.
he got his
Yeah.
third
I'm
DUI
proud of you, my
Thank
friend.
you, man.
Yeah, yeah.
On my street.
on your street.
Yeah, on my street.
When
yeah.
when he's 19, and the judge, I got the handwritten a letter from the not the judge, but the chief of Santa Cruz Police.
Yeah.
You owe Walter $274 for totaling his car, and this is your third DUI. Do you want to go to jail or the army?
I love
Right.
that.
Right, a block from his barbershop.
And you know, CJ, I just want to say it's great that you still have a home
Yeah.
here in Santa Cruz because
Yeah.
I see you as one of us here in Santa Cruz.
Thank you, man. It's
Yeah.
an honor. Like that means the world.
Well, I'm serious.
Thank you.
I mean, I feel like you're one of the tribe,
Thank you.
and it's important for you to have a home and a place to call home.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you can call my home home.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank
And so
There's a-
just
you know,
keep that in mind.
We've had almost 750 shows, and I love every one of them. We've loved every one of
Yeah,
them. There's never been
yeah.
a bad one yet. But when you call me, when you call, that's the one guest that I get excited about
Thank you,
hearing
dude.
from.
It means
He's
a
like,
lot.
he's coming on the show, he's doing good. Fuck yeah, I want to hear what's going on because
Thank you.
your story is never ending.
It's been a miracle.
And being where you are, as far as one of the world's top surfers, there's a spotlight on you. People are looking, see what's going on.
yeah, and finally, like, I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with saying, like, for you to be called out, like, oh, don't you know who I am? Like, that's me growing up. And,
Yeah.
and it's really important to that everybody knows out there that I'm reachable. Like, this community, like, if you're in a Jeremy Scribner situation or you're in another uncomfortable situation with alcohol or emotionally or whatever, dude, you can DM me, you can write me on Facebook. I have time for everybody.
Yeah.
I will never not be there
Yeah.
for a person in need, especially from this community, because this community has given me everything I have.
Yeah.
And I will add to that, please answer with your heart, because Richard Novak offered Scribby's a paid free rehab. And I had with Adam Rapogel and Dave Nelson, we had to go to his house and ask him,
Yeah.
it's today. We're going to take you to rehab. And on the last show, he says that was his biggest regret.
Wow.
Listen to your friends, people.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
seriously,
Please.
don't think it's not okay to say you need help, right?
yeah,
Is that
it's-
I mean,
it's a-
you're a pro, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's what changes everything, is when you have the balls to say I need help.
Right. Please, if you are struggling, say it's okay.
Website is.
Website is loosechangeretreats.com.
Okay, we'll have that. We'll put that up
Yep.
on all the pages we have, and we blow it up, get it out there.
We appreciate it.
Wavesandfades.com to make an appointment.
We're gonna do that too.
And you do need to make an appointment. It's not just a walk-in
Yeah,
deal,
yeah.
right?
So-
Yeah,
This
it's always
guy-
that
this
place
guy's
is
the
booked.
best.
Do you remember the discount code from Amy from Shameless Sex? Remember?
Yeah.
So this gal, this it reminds me of you guys because mom and daughter owned a sex shop downtown.
That's fantastic.
Right?
Yeah. That should
No, and they're extremely successful.
Sure.
And they sold the store, and they now do everything online. But they have a 10% discount code,
Okay.
which just says "We love Neil."
So when
You may
book-
laugh, but you
Is
may
that
laugh.
your greatest
You-
achievement in life?
you
You
may
have
laugh.
a
And how much was
we
that?
love
Guess
Neil
how
at
much
a
money?
sex shop.
Guess how much money they made from that discount
How
code?
much? How much?
$10,000.
No way.
10 grand.
Well, is that a compliment
So we're gonna
to
do
you?
we're gonna do a 10%. We're gonna do a 10%. We love Neil, or we love TC, or what the fuck ever. Discount code, Waves and Fades discount code for surfboard.
That's up to him.
Yeah, man.
He's the boss.
Well,
Oh yeah, I know.
if
Just
people-
it reminded me. It reminded me of father's,
Sure,
father
sure.
son,
Yeah, sure.
and
He sincerely makes every decision.
Yeah,
He
and
is
she should.
the boss.
Yeah.
Your
that's great.
business.
It's his business.
Good idea.
You're the.
I'm his dad now. So
You just sit on the couch.
we just
you
re-signed
sell
the
the
we
lease.
couch?
we sip
coffee
espressos
in
and
the
walk
front.
around.
Yeah.
And I used to sell the boards for 5 years, but now we have Leahi there and Abby, and we trained in some replacements, and
Okay.
now we're expecting my first grandchild, your first child. And I
Yeah.
just
Do you drive a van?
I drive a van.
Yeah, you drive a van. I've
With a
seen your
bunch of
van.
kook stickers. He's trying to help me with the stickers.
Peel off a couple.
Yep.
And
No,
then
I
we
don't.
got that.
But no, they're as far as like customer service, just doesn't get
Top
there.
shelf.
No.
It is
Top
top
shelf.
shelf.
Top
I
shelf.
agree. You guys run a
And the
great
boards.
operation.
And the boards. Fins.
And it's I will also say this: you are an asset to our community.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
And yeah, so
Good to
so
hear.
that's great.
This
news.
community matters to us. Big
Good.
time. I was born on West Side, King Street,
Mhm.
third generation. And it was a privilege and an honor to be able to come and set up camp through his vision. Because
Yeah.
he said, I want to move the family
He's
back
out
to
of his
Santa Cruz.
mind. You know,
He's the one who
barbershop-
brought us all.
He brought us
together,
all
you know?
together. This
Barbershop
guy.
selling surfboards?
Yeah.
Every-
Great.
every- you
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
what the
it's
hell are you
like,
thinking?
I thought, let's have fun.
Yeah.
It's not gonna. If it doesn't go, it's okay. Let's not hurt nobody and have fun and meet great people along the way.
Yeah.
But dang, man, buckle up. It's just a beautiful place.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Hey CJ,
Yes.
welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks for being
Thank
on the
you,
show
thank
tonight.
you,
yeah.
thank you. I appreciate it.
By the way, at the shop right now, do we have a selection of surfboards available?
Dude, I mean the whole.
How many we got right now?
What do you got to shop?
CJ's be like 20.
20?
We got
20.
80 longboard single fins.
80.
Yep. Longboard single fins.
Yeah.
And
Do you only ride single fins?
No.
Okay.
I ride it. I ride everything still. Shortboards. I got Almerics. I'm still riding everything.
You're everything.
Everything.
What's your social media? CJ Nelson. Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah. But
You should follow CJ
Surf
because
Crime.
Surf
CJ Nelson
Crime.
Designs.
Yeah.
Flying Diamond Fin Company.
you're all over the place.
I got a few things happening.
I follow you, and it's a joy to see you frolic on the water.
Thank
Seriously,
Thank
you make it look so easy.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and no, it's really amazing, and it takes a lifelong dedication to Mother Ocean to do that.
It does.
And congrats, man, because I mean, through the high times and low times, you still, I feel like you've mastered the ocean.
I'm doing the best I can. you
Yeah,
know,
that's
and
great.
I know where I fit in.
Well, and you have a business, and there was the fork in the road. I'll circle back to that. Your fork in the road. I'm proud you made the right turn, man.
Yeah,
Seriously,
man.
because I don't want to mourn people, and I'm so proud that you like are just accelerating. So
Thank
congrats.
you so
Yeah.
much, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Yeah,
thanks for
guys.
having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
is-
Thanks for including us.
Does Waves and Fades have social media? Of
Yeah.
course. Instagram.
Waves and Fades.
SC.
Okay.
And
Waves
to
and
make an
Fades.
appointment, you got to go to where?
There's
Wavesandfades.com.
or
Waves
call.
and Fades.com.
Just
Or
call.
walk in and make an appointment.
All right.
How many chairs are in there
You need a
now?
haircut,
Five.
bud.
There's
Yeah.
5
You need a
chairs.
haircut.
I do need a haircut.
Yeah.
Well, I used to go to Waves and Fades when my girl
Right.
quit. I got to
Colette.
come back. Yeah.
Colette.
yeah.
Come back.
Colette-
She's with child now.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, right? I heard. Yeah. So
Thanks, guys.
yeah, Colette was my girl.
Thank you. Thank you
Neil,
very
next week we got a band.
Your band, what's your buddy?
Creature. Oh God, I.
Can't remember.
Shit. My Jordan, if you're watching, I'm so sorry. Next week we have such this band out of Southern Oregon. They're amazing. So I will not embarrass myself anymore. By the way, thank you everybody for tuning in to Off Death Radio Show number 700 and some odd godly numbers.
You can catch the show later on YouTube. You can catch it on all the podcast platforms and offtheiradio.com.
And if you want to surf like CJ, just buy one of these.
Yeah, that's right.
CJ, thanks so
Thank you
much
so
for being
much.
here. Welcome
Blessings,
home, my
everybody.
friend. You
Blessings.
guys, awesome show. We will see you in next week's. Tyler Fox, thank you again. Santa Cruz Waves in the house. Good night, everybody.